Okay, it's been a long time since I haven't been doing any update on my Yarn Mindful Buy project this year. Last one was in July, I think, but of course I spent a lot of time in the hospital and not being able to move around to do anything. So people have bought yarn for me. I bought yarn for someone else, and also I want to go through the way I manage not only my yarn purchases but also my patterns purchases. I haven't been doing this since most probably the beginning of the year, so I may have it may be a long video, and if you're not interested into that we may just see each other another time. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting project, my knitting life, and one particular project I have, which is where I mindfully manage my yarn purchases, my patterns purchases, my books purchases, after having several years of a no-buy with quite tight regulations that I did follow. I think I have now found some kind of an equilibrium between what I want to do, my impulse buyings, my mindful buyings, and the way I manage all of that, and the way I manage my cravings, because these are cravings that are on the same, for me, on the same category of as any other cravings, whether being bad habits or good habits. So the way I do that, and also we are in a very sunny Normandy today with the light ever changing, so you may see changes of lights, and also I may have to record this video in several segments. But anyway, I guess I haven't said that my name is Isabelle, and after this very long, winding, squirrel chasing introduction, if all of that, what I have bought, not much, but I did buy some things, and how I manage my cravings is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Madeleine sweater that I knit, so Madeleine by Sumin Kim, that I knit between April and May in about a month, 2022. And this sweater I made with Holstgarn Tale, held double in the colorway, the pearl colorway, and Holstgarn is 70% wool and 30% silk. It's a very interesting yarn. I like it quite a bit, and I have made a couple little scarves for myself, single stranded, double stranded, and maybe some other things. And I do love the Madeleine sweater a lot, whether it's sunny, so I still want some short sleeves and stuff like that. It's not very warm, but inside of the house it's quite comfortable. So yes, my Madeleine sweater, I do not have any shawl for now. I have one for whenever I want to go out. I'm also wearing the earrings one of the lovely yous sent me from Australia. And all of that is giving me strength to forego all of what's going on in my life for now. I will place a little life update, I forgot to say, at the end of the video, because I saw my surgeon yesterday. Good news, good news. So I haven't bought much, of course, as I could not, drive or walk or whatever for a long time. Since I've last talked about it, I think it was in July. But there was the Knit It Festival in Lyon, the first weekend of October. We are on October 15th as I record this video. And one friend of mine, the same friend who brought me some yarn last year from Knit It, where we were supposed to go together, and we are supposed to go next year. So she had offered to bring yarn for me once again, and I had said, if there is room, she had brought an empty suitcase to bring back yarn for herself. She did bring a big bag for her. So I said, okay, if you have room, if you have time, if you are happy with the idea of shopping for me, yes, I would like something. So I had firsthand looked at who was there at the yarn festival. Last year, she brought yarn from Terroir Laine. I made a sleepover with it. I still have some left over, which is a small producer of natural yarn in the center of France. All of that I like, rustic yarn and everything. This year, there was another person coming to the Knit It Festival. She was there last year, and it's the person from La Ferme du Beau. I will link everything down below, and as always, I never say that, but I place timestamps on the line and at the bottom of the video on YouTube, and you can jump to different places. And also there are timestamps in the description box, so you can jump around the different segments if you are interested in, or if there is something that you're not interested in. So, La Ferme du Beau, Beau as in beautiful, and La Ferme as in the farm. And this is her fingering weight, and she only uses natural dyes, and I'm gonna have to check my Ravelry page because I can't read her handwriting for the colorway. It's Shibori. I will write that also on the screen. And this is indigo. So it's kind of an indigo, it's an indigo dyed yarn, fingering weight, 400 meters per 100 grams. And what does she say? Not much else. And she's, okay. You have a little map. I really like that. So the further one on the left is where she is located, and she has the yarn washed and carded, I guess, maybe in Saugue in Haute-Loire, and she has it also milled in Felletin, where Fonty is, and the National Yarn or the International Yarn Festival also is in the upcoming weeks or something. So you see, she's located on the further leftward, or the further left of the dots. She has it washed on the further right, and the middle one is where Felletin is with the mill for example, Fonty and everybody over there. So very local in France yarn. The indigo doesn't have an homogeneous type of dyeing. There are some places that are more clear, some places that are more dark. And when I had seen she was there and I had checked online what she was offering, I had already said to my friend, okay, go there and check for the indigo, because I think it's an interesting color. I love it. It's one of the blues that I love. And you may have seen in my previous videos all the misery I have with one of the indigo dyed yarn that I bought at Le Fil de la Manche that is staining all over. And she said it's not going to be staining my hands at all. So there's that. And this indigo skin, 100 grams, I paid 20 euros for it. So it's very, very inexpensive, or it's not very much expensive. And my idea was to mix it, sorry for the noise, mix it with mohair, to knit it with mohair. So either the mohair from Les Fermes de France, and this is the little farm I go to during the summertime or whenever I visit my mother and she is open. She is next to my, or less than an hour away from my mother's. So with this blue, or with the skein that is left over of lang yarn, all of them are less weight mohair, which is a bit more bright. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to be doing, and I love both. So the one from Ferme de France is going to make it a bit lighter. The one from Lang is going to be making it a bit brighter, stronger blue. I'm not sure. You're going to tell me just swatch? Maybe. Maybe I will swatch, or maybe I will start right away. And what I have in mind for this project is a hat I've seen when she published it, and I fell in love with it. So I have not bought the pattern yet, but I'm going to buy it whenever I'm ready to cast on. But there are a lot of things aligned. My planets are aligned for a very long stretch for my projects and my future cast-ons. So, and my birthday is coming up, so I need to decide which cast-on I'm going to be making, and I think it may be that one. So the pattern I want to be making is Kayoni by Monstretniks on Ravelry and everywhere, and she's Natasha Hornby. And this pattern is amazing. When I saw it, I said, okay, deep stitch, you know I love deep stitches. You know I love my sorrels. The three of them I've made. And I had in my mind to come up with a hat pattern with the deep stitch from the sorrel. Natasha Hornby just published one. And what is extremely interesting is that you have 3 layers for the brim. So you have to wear it with a big brim anyway. But the one layer that is outside is with the deep stitch, and the 2 other layers are stockinette. So it's not adding bulk, it's adding layers that will trap air and keep you warm. But it's not adding bulk, and you have the deep stitches. So of course, at the tip of the hat, they are going one way, and the bottom of the hat on the brim, they are going another way. There is no way to go around that unless you knit them differently. But anyway, this pattern I loved as soon as I saw it. I haven't bought it. You see, I have yarn for it, and I will cast it on. Maybe it will be my birthday cast on, maybe not. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing for my birthday cast on. But anyway, that's one of the contenders. I just have to buy the pattern and cast it on. One of these blues that are going to go with everything I have in my wardrobe. I do wear a lot of blue, and when it's not blue, it's some kind of beigey brown or whatever. So it's going to go with about everything. And as I was, deciding on which mohair to go with, and I said, I need a 100% blue shawl, which I do not have. So, okay, that's going to be a project for the future. Okay, next, still from Knit It, Stephen West was there at a booth. So she took pictures with him, she went there for herself, and she texted me because it was after she had bought the indigo yarn from La Ferme du Beau. And she said, okay, I've decided I'm going to go see Stephen West booth. She wasn't sure, but she decided to. And I said, do you want anything from him? I said, okay, just bring me 1 skein of sock yarn. You can choose the color as long as it is in the, maybe blue, pink, purple, green, that kind of color realm, not black, not beige. Something colorful, because socks can be, that one accent of craziness that you can have with a shawl, for example. So she did deliver. She did get some I guess that's the name of the line, wool. It's 85% merino and 15% nylon. The colorway is Oz. So that's his sock wool. I'm sorry for the glares. Okay, maybe that way. That's his sock wool in this bright emerald. It's not completely uniform, but it's more of a uniformly tonal color than there are no speckles or anything. 100 grams, I would guess it's 400 meters if I can see the meterage. Yes, 400 meters. And I don't have any bright emerald sock wool. Okay, perfect. So this one was 29 euros for 100 grams. So it's within, the normal price of people saying, famous people selling yarn for one skein. So I'm going to be making socks. I have no idea which pattern I'm going to be using, and I may record another video later on about sock patterns and I have questions about heels, questions for myself, or no, also, I'm sure you're going to just tell me try it on. And okay, not sure where it cut off. I forgot to stop my saver and stuff, as I should do when I record, and the screen went off, and of course when the screen goes off, my recording goes off. Anyway, so what I was saying is that you need the plain green emerald sock as itself, or I may combine it with one of the skeins that one of you, or the minis that one of you sent me from Australia, because I think those two ones can go together. There is a little bit of purple, there is a little bit of brownish, purplish, beigey, but on the cooler side, and this emerald is quite on the cooler side too. And I think I can make, so this is, I will have to check. Says he's having his moment. I will have to check if it is 20 grams or 10 grams. I would say maybe 10 grams, but it doesn't really matter. And whether I'm going to be using it for maybe cuffs and toes, or maybe there is enough for the heel too. So anyway, I think I'm going to do that. I'm not quite sure. Because I checked this emerald against all the different Philco Lanas colorways I have, and I did not really like any of that. I think this one works. I may do it, I may not, but for the moment I'm going to keep these two ones together, so that whenever I'm ready to cast on some kind of an emerald sock and I have decided on a pattern or a way to be knitting the sock, I will have this little mini right next to it, ready to be knit with the emerald sock yarn. Okay, so next, another purchase I just made yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it. Yesterday was such a long day. I came back home and I ate one bowl of soup and I crashed in my bed. So I knit this beanie for my son in 2021. That was one of the Christmas presents I made that year. And it's the Hyber knitting hat by Stephen West for my youngest son, the musician one. And what happens is that yesterday morning he did talk about that beanie to me, because that's the second or third time that his music teacher from the music school. So the way in France you have national music school, of course you have private music school, and it's not what I'm talking about. A national music school, you have of course one, maybe several in Paris and in the major cities, and these national schools are from the level that is a university level, so undergrad, grad, and PhD. This is the one Paulin has tried to get in, and for 2 years he's been denied because they took someone who was with them for a long time. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that he's for the second year now taking electronic, and also electroacoustic music classes in the area music school, but it's a public school, and there is one in every area in France, in every region, and he's at the one in Lyon. His music teacher, whom he loves a lot and he gets along with him quite a bit, and anyway, has been talking about his hat for a long time. And yesterday morning he said, he's been asking about the hat, and he sent him a message asking if his grandmother could knit him the same hat. Okay, first thing, knitting is not for grandmothers only. That's what I answered. Tell him. Second thing, I did knit the hibernating hat for Paulin with some Fonty yarn, so ambience, and I need 1.2 skeins of that. I have one skein left, so it's not enough. I mean, if it's not enough for a hat, and if I get another skein that is not the same colorway, or it's the same colorway but it's not the same bath, and it may be, I don't want to bother alternating skeins on a hat. Okay, so I did use ambience with Kidopal, and Kidopal I still have one skein in my stash, and I did use 0.75% of a skein that is almost 180 meters of the mohair, and 1.2 skeins of the ambience, which is almost 150 meters. So I decided I was going to get more yarn. So here is the Kidopal that I used for Paulin, the one skein I have left. It's this orange colorway. Do you have a name? You have a number. 298. That's the colorway in this very bright orange. So this is a lace weight 25 grams and 250 meters. So I have enough to make another hat, but I did not have enough of the ambience. Ambience is 100% wool. It's 120 meters per 50 grams, so it's a sturdier and a bigger wool. In the colorway, the number, so it's a number 2, and this is 316. When I looked on the Fonty website, they have another orange, and it's not 316. So 316 is still listed, but they don't have any, and there is another orange. So I do not know if they are going to be producing 316 again, or if they are retiring for another colorway. Anyway, I was thinking, I need to check if my local yarn store in Caen has this colorway in stock, because they are Fonty providers, stockist, and the other local yarn stores doesn't. They kind of, quite smartly divided which brands they are offering, and the other one that is closer to me doesn't carry Fonty. So I looked at their website, and they had 3 skeins left. So I called them and I said, I have an appointment with my surgeon today, and I have to do some x-rays and stuff like that. Would you please keep 2 balls for me, and I'll come and get them at the end of the day when I'm going back home. I had not expected. My surgeon is never late, and he was very late. So it was very late in the day. I was completely exhausted, but I did stop anyway to get the 2 skeins so that I can knit the hat. I'm just waiting for the measurement of the head for this person. because there is only one size, so I may go down a little needle size if he needs something a bit smaller and need the same as with the same needles. I think I use 5 millimeter needles. For Paulin, I will, yes, 5 millimeter needles. I'm just waiting for this, and I'm going to be casting on this hat. So I spent 14 euros and 80 cents for these two balls, and I do have the mohair that I paired with last time around. And so this is more of a, ambience is more of a rusty orange. The kid mohair, it's not kid mohair, it's kid opal, is more of a bright orange, fire orange type of color. And the two together, I like the effect. Paulin likes the effect, so I knitted 3 years ago. Every time I see him, he says that people are giving him compliment on his hat. So I'm gonna need one for his teacher. It took me 1 week to knit it last time around. I'm sure I was not knitting just on that. So I may carry on and do some quick knits to get this out of the way, even though I have so many things in my queue. I want to cast on Oitisika. I have other sweater projects aligned and everything. I have my 2 shawls undergoing. I finished my socks, but I did cast on another one when I was waiting at the doctor's office yesterday. But this is going to be my outside knitting, mindless knitting. So yeah, I need to get organized, and I need to be knitting all the things before I go back to work. Okay, next, a future purchase. And I've ordered the yarn at the little yarn store I was yesterday, because they do carry Holstgarn. This purchase has a very ancient kind of tie to my yarn, what was my Yarn No by Year project, and a very recent tie to the yarn Paulin brought me from Germany. He bought that 2 years ago, and these 3 skeins have been all around Europe. I've already talked about them, and these are Shuffle Self-Striping Wool Edition 6 in a very thin type of yarn. So these are 50 grams, 300 meters for 50 grams. So it's a very light fingering, if fingering at all, in these very nice self-changing blue colorways between very light and very dark blue. So first I asked him to choose a pattern. A pattern from my library. So I gave him several ideas. I sent him screenshots, and he decided on Petrichor by Rachel Isley. Rachel Isley, and she's Unwind Knitwear. That's her handle on other places. So he decided on that. The sweater is knit with a bit bigger wool, but I think it's gonna be okay with that one. If anything, depending on some kind of, maybe I will swatch, maybe I won't swatch. But anyway, maybe I can knit a bigger size. That's not the problem. My problem is which yarn to pair it with. And at first, I really wanted to use stash yarn. So I checked what I had. So I said at first, so you already know that this is not what I'm going to be doing. So first I have the tides in the pearl colorway, the one I made my Madeleine sweater with. So Madeleine is double-stranded, tides is single-stranded. So I think it's a bit thinner than, I have to check the meterage, but it's a bit thinner than the Shuffle wool. And the colorways do go together, but I don't think the quality of the thread do go together. I think it's too different. This one is too different as a yarn from Shuffle. So So from edition 6. So you may say, okay, it can be some kind of a feature. Yes, sure, but I'm not quite sure. But this is the kind of colorway I'm most interested into pairing it with. What I do have is super soft, and this one is silver gray. Super soft is to me the best yarn and the best thickness, the best quality to pair it with the Chopper wool. But I do not think the contrast is good enough with, even with a silver gray that is quite clear, quite light. I don't think the contrast is good enough with the blue. And I do also have, but it's more, the yarn is a bit thicker. And you know I'm going to be reclaiming some cashmere yarn. It's a bit thicker in this kind of a light beige colorway, but it's a bit more on the warmer side when the ball here is, the blue yarn is more on the cooler side, and I was going to go with a cooler color. Let me open to my lady cat. She's gonna be mad at me because she's waiting for a snack, and I just want to finish to record that part. Anyway, so I was going for a light, cooler colorway. So I took pictures of all of these three skeins, all of these three cones with the blue Chopper yarn. And I also took the pictures in black and white to see for the contrast. The contrast I like the best is with the tides, but I don't like the difference in the material. So now that's the tie to a current kind of story. Another tie to a very ancient story, and it's relevant to my yarn mindful buy year, because that very purchase is the one that threw me in my no-buy project. Okay, I had to recenter myself. Anyway, when Holstgarn in, I think it was in 2021, at the end of 2021, something like that, had a big sale. You're going to tell me. Holstgarn does sales every year, several times a year. Yes. They do stop some kind of colorways, but so they may change the recipe, they may change the hue about the colorway, but they still carry very, successful colorways that are maybe changing a bit the numbers and some things like that, but they will always have a very light Mediterranean blue. They will all, anyway, and some colorways are carried on every year. The one colorway I was interested in during the sale was Nougat. Nougat, it's kind of a cooler, not completely cooler, but a cooler beigey, gray type of, pearlish type of colorway with little use into it. And this colorway was out of stock when the sale was on. So I decided to get other things. This is where I got this cone. I have the darker gray, which is flannel gray or something. If not, I will write it here. So these were 1 kilogram cones. And I got also the tides. I got also 1 kilogram in that pearl colorway, because I could not get the Nougat colorway. I also got individual skeins, a dark green, because I wanted to make a scarf with it. I have the pattern in my library, and it's waiting to be casted on since then. A bright blue, as I said. Will Holstgarn ever stop making bright Mediterranean turquoisey blues? No, it's still there. The golden crest I used in my Yara shawl, 2 skeins, that's okay. And another one that is, I think it's donkey. The colorway is donkey. It's a very beautiful colorway. It's a darker, moodier brown with kind of a dark green hues, if I recall correctly. But it's a darker brownish something, not quite, plain brown, that I liked a lot. And I was thinking making some kind of vest or something like that. Anyway, when the order arrived at my doorstep, I think I had blanked when I ordered it. I did not recall everything I had ordered, and I could not believe how much yarn was in there. It's not a lot of money because Holstgarn is not very expensive, but this is what threw me overboard into my no-buy project, because I realized that I did purchase all of that out of frustration because Nougat was not available. And it's not a good reason to purchase yarn. You can spend a lot of money on yarn as long as you know why and it's making you happy. And I'm not here to judge any of what of your habits are. But this purchase did not make me happy. This purchase showed me that I was doing that out of frustration, the same way I can be eating out of frustration or something. Yeah, to me it's the same level of way to cope with frustration. So this is what prompted me to start my no-buy project. And now that I have the pattern, I have part of the yarn, I was thinking it's going to be a good idea to be buying more of that, or to be buying the Nougat colorway all together, to knit that pattern, and to be a very mindful purchase with purpose, and that is thought through, and that I will be very happy with. So they do have an order coming from Holstgarn underway, and she said, I think we have 10 balls of Nougat. So I did pre-reserve some of them, if not all of them, I do not recall. And I said to her, if I need to be waiting for the next purchase that you are making, because they do organize all of that, because the shipping rates are very expensive for Holstgarn. So I said, okay, if you can't sell any Nougat to me right now, it's not a problem. You just place a code for me next time you are ordering, and even if it's in 4 months, this yarn has been waiting and traveling all over Europe for a long time. It can wait for a little bit. But I think she said, no, it's okay, we will reserve the skeins for you, because they do not buy cones. People don't buy cones here. And we will reserve them, and when they are available, I will give you a call, and there's that. So Holstgarn is not very expensive, and I know all of that is very relative, and it can be something very expensive to you. And what I want to say is that even though I did make these purchases out of frustration, I never spent money I did not have. I have to be very clear on that. I'm very lucky maybe to be able to buy some yarn. I mean, I buy less than many people because I can't buy more, but I do buy what I can financially offer to myself or to other people. So I was not in a difficult situation at all. I did not have to choose between eating or buying yarn. But I did make this purchase in a way that I was very unhappy with. So I think it will be a very good conclusion. And, I was also thinking about a birthday cast on, if I can ever get the Holstgarn in the Nougat colorway for the end of October. I don't know if they are going to receive the order, when they are going to receive their big package. But anyway, that can be also a symbol of my way to be able to deal with that, making me happy, making mindful purchases that have, link to my personal history, maybe sometime to your history, because I'm going to say that later on. But anyway, maybe also, history with you and things that make me happy. So, yes, I was totally exhausted last night. And also, there were people in the store. I had to stand up and wait. Anyway, I'm very happy with the idea of eating petrichor with Holstgarn in nougat and this very playful self-changing yarn from Shuffle. Okay, so it's quite late. It's way past my lunchtime. I'm very hungry. So I may just save, as I had said before, I may just save my reckoning with or my examination of my pattern bundles on Ravelry and the way I do manage to manage my buying cravings for patterns too. So I will either record it at a later date or maybe this afternoon and place it in the video, but I'm afraid this video is already going to be quite long. So I may record it and make another video altogether for that. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, and if I want to, talk a bit about life updates, I can't, it's going to be a 2 hours video otherwise. So I may just do that. I'm not sure how I'll end up doing. You, in the future, Okay, this is me from the future, recording the second part of this video about how I manage my patterns craving. And it just jumped at me that I had not made the final statement of what I had spent up to now and how it breaks into spending per month and how I manage buying yarn and how I do to not really control but keep an eye and have a mindful way of buying yarn patterns, etc., etc. So if we are talking about what I spent up to now, we are on the 15th of October 2025. I spent for myself and for other people 1,117 euros and 28 cents. That's spending about, or exactly about 110 euros and 73 cents per month. I think it's under what I did last year. And in any case, as I've already said, I am not spending money I do not have. I am trying not to overspend. The little rules I have for myself is not buy yarn online unless it's for somebody else. Unless it's to finish a project and nobody in my area sells that type of yarn and I have to order from the website or something. So buy yarn in person. The other exception, and you've seen it, is that when one of my friends went to Knit It in Lyon and I could not come, and I was supposed to come again this year, but way in advance we knew I was not coming because of my surgery. She said, okay, I may buy something for you. What do you want? I may have room to carry back with me and everything. So the other exception is, that type of situation. How could I not accept she buys some Stephen West yarn for me? How could I not accept she buys yarn from La Ferme du Beau? This woman is from the center of France. She is never gonna come next to my area. I am not sure she sells or she has stockists somewhere. or some other places carry her yarn. I haven't checked, but maybe yes, but maybe not. And there was no other chance for me to get yarn from her, and I had seen already her coming to Knit It last year, and I had already checked her out. So it's kind of a way for me to participate in this event, to kind of follow what my friends are doing, and they are being nice to me, and all of that is it's a happy place for me. So it's okay. But I don't buy any yarn online or not in person, given all the exceptions that I just talked about. So it's working for me. It's working for me, even if sometimes I do make some impulse buyings, because now I have 2 yarn stores in my area. I just went at the beginning of the year from 0 for a long time to 2 local yarn stores, and it's a lot of temptation. But when I visit them, sometimes just to talk with them, sometimes to sit and knit with them and everything, they do agree that and I've already said that. I've already asked them, is that okay? I come and not buy. When I usually, when I need something and either one is carrying what I want, I will buy into their store. So is that okay that I don't buy? And is that okay that I come with a project that is not with yarn that I bought in your shop? And of course, but I did prefer to ask that. Of course, they were completely okay with that. So this is the way I do. And even if having 2 yarn stores close to me is kind of a temptation, I think I have managed not to overspend and not to buy yarn that I would not use and that would sit in my stash for nothing. So the other thing is I try, it's not an absolute rule, but I try to buy yarn with intention and for a project. And if I do have a project, when I was in the Le Fil de la Manche festival, I bought yarn for Mar that I casted on. I bought silk and mohair for a sweater that I've knit already. So you see, and yarn for Herbivore that I've casted on too, and I'm knitting on both of Herbivore and Mar. So you see, it's working for me. What is not working, and I've already said that, is that it's always the new on top of the new on top of the new. And you see, I've casted on projects with yarn I just bought or just came to me, for example. And I should go back and force myself to cast on projects. Every other project with yarn from my stash or my older stash. So it's sort of working if I sneak the Cora sock in there. Other than that, I'm not so happy with the fact that I'm, always on the new, and I just got the yarn and I cast on something. When I still have some beautiful yarn that is waiting for me to cast it on, and I do have projects attached to most of the yarn I have in my stash. So maybe I should enforce a bit more that rule to every other project knit from my stash. I have a good excuse as, the surgery and the hospital. It's a lot of attention, it's a lot of pain. Pain drains you out. And I wanted my knitting to be just pure joy. Even though I know if I knit from stash, I'm going to be very happy because I love the projects and I love the yarn. So I know I'm going to be happy. But I did not want to go into that. And this is why I defaulted to casting on the new with the new and the new with the new. Okay, maybe that part of the project will be for later. Anyway, as I said yesterday, I had an appointment at the hospital to get x-rays and other examinations, and then later on an appointment with my surgeon for the 6 weeks update on my surgery, the second total hip replacement I had at the beginning of September. Long story short, he is very happy. Long story short, I was sure he was going to be very happy because last time around, all he was focusing on was the fact that the hip was perfect, the hip replacement was perfectly in place and everything. This time around, what he told me, one is also very happy with the way that he integrates all of the metal and everything, because sometimes it's not completely straightforward. So twice it was a good thing. It was quite straightforward for me, so that's a good thing. And also what I told him is that I have far less pain than the first surgery, also because I think the hospital managed all my vertigos that are due to the fact that I had been losing a lot of blood volume, not just red blood cells and iron and hemoglobin and everything, but just volume that would make me very dizzy, because I know I have vertigo. I easily have vertigo whenever I am very hungry or whenever I am very thirsty. I can't not drink if I'm not thirsty, and I cannot not eat if I'm not hungry. And as a matter of fact, yesterday I went with my water bottle and a banana for the afternoon. And I did stop after all the exams at the hospital. They have a little food corner where I'm not sure I recall, I got a coffee and some kind of yogurt with fruits and stuff like that, in addition to the banana I had in my bag. Anyway, they did manage that. They did give me the next morning after my surgery, even before all the blood work came back, all the results came back, they did give me 2 pouches of liquid and 1 pouch of some kind of irony solution. That prevented me to have low blood pressure, that prevented me to have vertigo, and that helped me being able to walk with someone, of course, with canes, of course, the very afternoon of the surgery and every day after that. And I think that being able to walk made a whole difference in my recovery. The one relapse I had a couple weeks ago, that is going, on its last leg. I still have pain, but less and less. He said that from what he sees, there are at least 1 or maybe 2 deep bruises in my thigh, and this is what is hurting me. I mean, imagine the pain you have with a small a small bruise on the surface of your skin. Imagine having that at a larger scale, at the total very deep inside of your muscles, in between muscles. I still have a part with edema. So he said, yeah, it's going to be hurting. This is also why my knee and the front of my leg hurts, because he says, when bruises go away, they go down. I did not have any of that last time, or maybe it was all completely masked and overwhelmed by neuropathic pain. But when the bruises heal, they go down, and that is why my knee and the front of my leg hurt too. And he said, take it easy. You've said that to me too. My sons have said that to me. He said, take it easy. Don't push it. If you need to still walk with a stick outside, walk in with a stick. If you can let it go at home, let it go at home. If you can not take any painkillers, don't. If you can stand the pain, yeah, perfect. I had taken some kind of paracetamol before going there because I knew I was going to be for some part of the afternoon. I had not anticipated I was going to be going for 6 hours, but I had taken paracetamol beforehand, and he said just play it by ear and don't push yourself. It's gonna come at due time. You can drive. So unfortunately, when I was in the hospital, so the yearly checkup for my car was due. That is not a problem. But every other year, we have to have a deeper checkup in France every two years to be able to be driving the car again. And this checkup checks everything from engine to structure to all the tires and stuff and everything. And there are, I don't know how many checkpoints that you have to pass, the car has to pass to be able to remain on the streets. And so there are also some non-breaking points that you need to be doing, you need to be repairing or checking with the garage or something. But that was due in September, that came up in September when I was in the hospital. So bottom line is, if I don't get any control, I can drive my car, of course. But what I want to be doing after he gave me the green light to be able to drive again is have an appointment for that checkup. So maybe the yearly checkup just before. And my the garage handles that for me. They do the normal checkup and they drive the car to the special place where you have to have some authorized people that only do that, check up your car and gives you, an okay for this car. So what I'm usually used to be doing is have the yearly checkup before. They do a pre-checkup in the garage. If they find something that are going to be breaking the official checkup every 2 years, that won't pass at that point, they give me a call and they say, okay, we need to repair or do this or that. And if I say okay, they do it, and then they bring the car whenever they are sure it will pass the test. So I need to have that, and if I get a control, I cannot be fined or anything if I have an appointment. And the good excuse, I was in the hospital, my appointment is in 10 days or something. If I don't do that and I get caught, it's very expensive. I don't recall. It's very expensive. So, and I'm the one to respect the law. So I need to do that. Thing is also, they give me a car for the day because it takes quite a lot of time, and they prefer to keep my car for a whole day so that they can organize everything. They give me a car for the day at no charge, but these are older manual cars. So I need to be sure that my left leg will be able to hit the clutch, bringing, going back home, because I can't stay there for the whole day. There is public transportation over there. I have to check that because it's a bit far away from where I live, and I'll see. If I don't feel confident I can drive a manual shift car, I will take the bus back home and back to their place, even if it's quite a long time. So yes, that's what is ahead of me. And so all of this is very encouraging. I'm less into the relapse mode than the okay, I'm back to being into a normal life soon. It's very encouraging, and I'm very happy I did decide to go for the second surgery. What the surgeon told me also, I did not know that. He said that he was also very happy that this time around is easier for me, because he said usually the second time around is not easier, it's a bit more difficult. So I'm not sure if it's because last time was so difficult for me that anything, unless it's the same thing, anything would look much easier, or if maybe you are already expecting things, and if your recovery is not up to par with your expectations, it's more difficult, or maybe it's more difficult altogether. I don't know, but he said that he was extremely satisfied that I was doing much better than the other time. Last time I did see him after 6 weeks, after 3 months, and after 6 months. He said, this time around, I'll see you in a year. Great. He said, of course, if you need me for anything before, you just call, and I'll manage to see you within less than a week. He made a report for my GP, and I'm seeing him in 2 days on Friday. So the day this video is being posted. So I'm going to be, seeing all of that with my GP too. I will ask for more physiotherapy sessions. I think I want to go to physiotherapy up to maybe the end of November, maybe early December, maybe even after I'm back to work. I guess I'll see that with him, but I guess I will be more comfortable knowing that I can have physiotherapy support whenever I'm back to work. For now, he said, no, take your time, rest, take your leave of absence for being sick or for surgery the way we have planned it up to December. So I'm not going to be working up to December, and I'm going to be working back in January. So I'm much in a better place. That is for sure, and I'm quite happy. And if the weather is as nice as it is now in the next few days and weeks, I hope I can go back to do a little bit of walking, which is very encouraging. In the meantime, I thank you a lot, my friend, for being so supportive. So to be talking with me about all of my little projects and all of my yarny interests, and to be sharing all of that, and maybe I'm giving you good ideas. Some of you have told me in the comments below that you were having this or that idea. Very good. I'm very happy, and I'm continuing to try to shield myself from what's happening in the world, even if I think the stress level for the world has gone down a bit, even if, may I say, the Nobel Prizes are kind of a joke. May I say that? But anyway, I'm still trying to avoid the news, or at least news on videos and stuff like that. I'm just reading some summaries from, French public journalists and television, but they do have newsletters and twice a day of updates and stuff like that. I managed to read that, but no more very anxious news coming to me. I know it's kind of selfish, and as some of you have said also in the comments, you are also doing this because we need to protect ourselves at some point. There is so much you can handle. There is so much you can handle. And it's not it's being a bit selfish, but if you still have the idea and an ear for what's going on and everything, not completely, closing yourself from what's happening, but keeping it at some of a distance, I think it's very important we manage to do that. And also we managed to find comfort in 2-hour knitting together. There is another video I want to make because I want to talk about our little knit-along. I haven't made the Ravelry thread, but once again, there is only so much I can do, so much you can do, and it's coming. And so yes, something that we can share, that we have in common, that brings us joy and happiness, and that we can be part of as a community. Common projects, even if it's one project from you to me and another one from another you to me too, or something more global like the little knit-along. The way that we are sharing these common interests, and we are from so many different cultures, from so many different parts of the world, and we do share all of that, and that is making me very happy. And I would like to finish on that very happy note, thanking you a lot for being here with me, for making my day every time I read your comments and I answer them in the comment section whenever you reach out or something like that. You have changed my life. Basically, YouTube has changed my life for the better, most part for the better, and all of that I owe it to you. So I thank you a lot for being here with me, being part of my life, and I hope I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top. Okay, it's been a long time since I haven't been doing any top. Okay, it's been a long time since top to mindfully manage my yarn purchases, my pattern purchases, my books purchasings made with Holstgarn. Okay, my yarn purchases. I haven't purchased much since I talked about it last time. That was in June, as far as I recall, but it may be at the beginning of July. Top, ready to be knit with the emerald. In the pearl, but the name and maybe the recipe. Why are you stopping? Okay, it's getting quite late. I'm very hungry. It's past the time I usually eat for lunch. Stop.